Hi, my name is Gerhard Gschwandtner. Welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the great pleasure of speaking with Jon Selig. And his LinkedIn profile bills him as half sales guy and half comedian. Hi, Jon.
You forgot the line, all parental disappointment.
Yeah, I thought better to deliver that. And I wonder what is behind that comment.
So my parents were really happy when I was selling. And then when I started doing stand-up comedy on the side, and also secretly as a way to, kind of change course of my career, they weren't really thrilled about it. But at this, and to be honest with you, I never set out to become a full-time professional stand-up comedian, because that is silly on so many levels. But it's a passion that I really have enjoyed. I've learned a lot from it about sales, and I don't think I could have ever done stand-up comedy had I been in sales.
Did you learn more about sales or more about rejection?
I already knew a lot about rejection from my time in sales, whether I was a cold caller or an account manager or any aspect of the sales cycle. And people always say to me, oh my God, it takes such guts to get up there and do stand-up comedy. What's terrifying? What if you fail? I said, no, it's not terrifying if you fail for 5 minutes and no one laughs, because no one's going to remember you. What's really terrifying is going through your entire year wondering if you're going to hit budget and ultimately keep your job. That was way more frightening to me. Thankfully, I did it for about 12 years, but that stress was gnawing at me quite a bit. Whereas if you go on stage and you don't do well, it can be stressful. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to slough that off, but there's always next time. It's no big deal.
What told you that you had a talent for comedy?
I realized, you know what? I need to just do something myself. I need to pursue a creative outlet myself. And I found out about a comedy writing class, which I didn't even realize was a stand-up comedy class when I signed up for it. So on the first day, the teacher says, this is a stand-up comedy class. After these 10 weeks, you were going to do 5 minutes of stand-up comedy for your friends and family. And that is the final exam. And my initial answer was, I am not doing that. That is stupid and not why I'm here. But after about 6 weeks of getting up there and following exercises and getting up on stage, I said, I can do this. This is fine. And the problem is, it's an addiction. And once you start and you get some laughs, you just want to do it again.
Where's the intersection between selling humor and selling a product or a service?
So one thing I always learned was, have a plan when you get on a call with a prospect. When I go on stage, I'm not making it up as I go along. I have a plan every time I go up. I'm going to open this way. I'm going to open strong. I'm going to close very strong. I'm going to probe the audience a little bit as I'm up there to figure out what will connect with them and what won't. But also, I'm trying to make it about them. I'm trying to entertain them. It's very important. I know my crowd. I'm trying to relate to them. I'm trying to earn their trust. And I want them to want to deal with me again.
What are the financial realities of comedy?
The financial reality of comedy is that it's a fantasy. I have a joke where I say, I tell the audience, guys, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I have 2 degrees in business, which means like I know a lot about business, but I'm doing unpaid stand-up comedy on a Wednesday, which means I'm bad at it.
So what is the kind of mindset you bring into the situation before you go on stage?
Depends on the crowd. Sometimes it's confidence, and sometimes it's a little bit of nervousness and not panic ever. I'm past that point of panicking. I panicked my first year here and there. But it wasn't so much about getting up in front of people and failing. It was more about just forgetting my material or not executing on my plan. There's always a nervousness. If you're not nervous, it kind of means you don't care, which maybe is a good thing for some comedians, because they're not so worried about the outcome and they can be their natural funny selves. But for me, it's either confidence and excitement or a bit of nerves that I'm not going to be able to execute on the plan that I've laid out in my meticulous mind.
So what was the moment of glory that you'll never forget?
Well, I've produced actually some fundraiser tours in Latin America. I team up with NGOs and popular tour spots. I have a whole separate side life as the founder and chief of staff of something called Comedy Abroad. And we've raised over 23,000 American for 8 NGOs in Nicaragua, Mexico, and Costa Rica, just by entertaining drunk travelers, basically, and helping kids in those local communities by raising proceeds for local NGOs. And we just had one show in a place called Nassau, Costa Rica. It's a full room, and they were all there for their annual fundraiser for a local library. and I just killed, and it was just such a blast. It was like such a feeling of fulfillment. So that's the gig that probably sticks out the most in my mind.
How can people learn about you?
JonSelig.com. They can learn about my training and workshop, where I help sales teams understand why they should use humor, how to go about doing it, and I work with them to collaboratively craft jokes around their prospects' pains and challenges, so that they could use those jokes when they're cold calling, when they're running a demo, or they're in a pitch, social media. Basically, find the humor in their prospects' world. So, JonSelig.com. They could also find me on Twitter @Jon Selig. There is no H in John. Also on Instagram, Improbable Comic, which I don't use as much, and of course LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best place to connect with me.